climate connections?
Well, oh, sorry if I
No, go ahead.
start.
Go ahead.
Um,
Go ahead.
yeah, um, climate, well, for Indonesia, it's actually the rain. Um, People wait for the rain because when the rain season, so our rain season starts usually from October to February. And then February to October is dry season. But sometimes, well, now the the rain season it's like reduced. Sometimes it comes like November and then ends to February. But then during dry season, sometimes there's rain as well. So it's really for us and for people who are living in rural areas and also in the city, they need the rain to save water, and then they'll buy a big bucket, the jug of water and fill those out, and then that's when they will have a filter. Um, and I think, and also they having the climate change, it also impacted our farmers, and the access of water to become like to become more restricted and 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 not affordable. So what I'm saying not affordable is because of the climate change, people are exploiting the situation to make it as water is expensive rather than seeing water is for life. Well, they know it's for life, but they want to make it, yeah, they want to make profit out of it. So, and that's when that's when we have people, partners that we need to continue to work with and advocate so that water should be available at affordable price, reasonable price, but also be able to bring, so it's really important to have pipes. I don't know, I mean, I'm sure in Liberia, but everywhere, is how do we bring in those pipes from the center of the water to places so that people could get water, not like shorter distance, but also have water in their homes at any time. Even the climate change has occurred. So yeah, so that's been, it's a challenge, but it is continuing to be an opportunity for people, but also for church, especially church, because churches are around Indonesia quite less than. It's a majority Muslim country, and it becomes actually another. Here it's about people of color. Back home it's about what religion you are in, and then or what ethnicity, and that's where the racism and discrimination occur as well. But so that's where the churches also are working with the community and working to make sure that they can bring water. And also, they are teaching the family to do their own gardening, at their homes. So because that also helps preserve water. So we have like, I mean, these homes, they have small lands, but they can garden like tomatoes, cucumbers, or some spices. So at least they have something healthy, and they also, there's a preserve the green aspect of their well-being around their house, and have some moist around moist moisture air around their livelihood, despite of what's happening, by not being able to get regular food or staples. So those are the things as well that we're doing, even church. Yeah.
So connection, both local and global, connection to food source, as well as vocation. Wonderful connections here. I'm also curious, ladies, what are some of the biblical water connections, water justice connections that are near and dear to you?
Well, Pastor Janice, do you want to start? Or?
Well, let me start. Let me start by saying, sorry.
Or I can start. Well, this is my favorite passage. Maybe some people don't understand it, or maybe it's just not related to water, but for me it is. It's Matthew 5, verse 38, verse 39. But I say to you, do not resist an evildoer. But if anyone strikes you on the right cheek, turn the other also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your coat, give your cloak as well. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go also the 2nd mile. Give to everyone who begs from you, and do not refuse anyone who wants to borrow from you. And this is how I see water in my home, in my country. If you don't have access to water, do not fight, do not be angry, do not seek revenge, but seek the positive, seek opportunities. And if they tell you that you can't get water, then get water at another place. If they tell you that you have to, and I see children, before going to school, they have to walk for 2 hours in the river, and they have their books on top of their heads to get water. And then they have to come back. And they do that. And that's another 2nd mile. And they're willing to do that. And our current president right now has been so, I mean, he is God's son. He's Muslim, and he is God's son. But right now, that area, the east part of Indonesia, he provided clean water and access for these children not to cross the river to get water early in the morning, like 4 o'clock in the morning, so that they can come back and help their parents, and then they have to walk to school for another 1 hour. So, and that's how I see this verse.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Sorry.
Okay. The first thing, if we look at the world we live in, a world without water and pure drinking water, we all were dried and died. So like I said earlier, water is very important, both physically and spiritually. And I, coming from the spiritual background, I will look at Isaiah 48:21. It says, they did not thirst when he led them through the deserts. He made water flow for them from the rock. He split the rock and the water gushed out. So just imagine if in the midst of God's children in the desert, God could provide water for them, even by splitting the rock. Our governments and everyone supposed to be held responsible to provide us safe drinking water. Because water is life. Without water, we wouldn't be healthy. No wonder why life expectancy in my country is so short, because we got a lot of waterborne diseases that affect our system. Yeah, a lot. So water is very, very important. Even Liberians, like now, if I were to leave from here and go to Liberia, I have to be careful of the water I drink for the next 3 months before gradually I can become used to waters that I used to just drink. You know, it happens. Many guests come. Sometimes you're telling them, be careful with the water. They like drinking any water. When you look, their stomach starts to run. They start getting diarrhea. They start suffering from something. So, so it just shows us that water is not safe there, and water is very, very important actually in all walks of life. Like I told you, during the 14-year Civil War, people were drinking their urine for water while they're walking and can't come across water because they needed their throat to be wet, their throat to have something. Yeah, just look at it. Even if you don't have food, some people live on water for days without food. They will just drink the water to be able to live on. You can have every other food, but if you don't have water, that food, you wouldn't enjoy it. So water is very important, even in our body, in our system. If you don't drink enough water, you get dehydrated. So water is very important. Yeah.
Thank you
And
for
it's
sharing.
definitely important now during the pandemic where we have to wash our hands with running water and soap. And so it's really a privilege to have running water so that we're able to wash our hands at any time. So,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Those body, mind, spirit connections, that holistic thinking about water is such a gift. I know I keep learning about water almost every day. Some new connection to water comes forward, and today I just feel really blessed with the stories that you've shared with us, connecting mind, body, and spirit. Also thinking about water locally in Minnesota and connecting that with your stories in Liberia and Indonesia, and how that fits in with our ecological systems of biosphere, geosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere, those connections, and how we as children of God can put ourselves into those systems of land, air, water, and living things to help our neighbor thrive, whether that's near or far. So any other questions or ideas that you would like to share about your water stories?
Well, for me, I also thought I had a water problem so huge until I went to Tanzania, because I studied in Tanzania. And in church, because in Tanzania, the drought is a huge problem. Yeah. So you find out that whole farm will just get dried up because there is no water. And when we go to church, the people are taking time and just praying for water, praying for rain. And so one day I said to myself, oh, I see these people spend so much time to pray for water, you know. So it just shows too that water is important. Even though for them, they don't have much of water, and we have much of water, but our water is not safe. So I can say sometimes we are even fooled, thinking that you see in the face of the water looking a little bit clean, then you're thinking that the water itself is clean, and then you drink it. But actually, water is a huge problem. Like in my country, every day is my wish that I can be able to really have another well, because at least I have put one in my village. But what about those far off villages? You know, so it's actually my wish and my prayer that the same God that provided well for me in my house, in the city, and in my village, I can be able to impact others. Yeah, that's my wish.
That's a beautiful wish.
Mhm.
Some of the projects I'm working here in Minnesota have to do with wells and sending our water away. So even though we see a lot of water here in Minnesota, the salt that we put on streets, the grass clippings and leaves, which are natural, they're actually, when we have too many of them, they over fertilize. So salt and other pollutants from the streets go through the storm drain into our lakes, rivers, streams, and wetlands and pollute that water. And if it's polluted by salt, it's actually permanently polluted. And it only takes a teaspoon of salt to permanently pollute 5 gallons of water. And we're finding in the metro area that even our groundwater, we as humans are polluting it with the salt. So and wells, many of the communities, even in the metro area, still are using wells. Some are using water from the Mississippi River, for example, is piped over and then runs through a chain of lakes, and that goes to St. Paul. So the water at Luther Seminary was actually not too long before in the Mississippi River. So sometimes drinking water here is from wells, sometimes it's from rivers, but it's those pollutants that we don't always think of. Like you were saying, Pastor Janice, it's clear, but there can be pollutants in there, salt here being one of them. And then with climate, as temperatures spike, that increases the growth of some of the dangerous bacteria. So even when we think it's abundant, there are abundant problems.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
The beauty of community and working together. And it reminds me of, well, one of my environmental heroes is Wangari Maathai, Nobel Peace Prize winner that started the Greenbelt movement, and how she, as a physician, as a doctor, recognized that water is life and helped people plant trees and rebuilding those ecosystems and understanding how land, air, water, and living things, and when people are in those systems, it really is, it's faith and science together. So
well, I also would like to add that I think these water stories are important, Heidi, to share and to be available. In order to, water stories, it's storytelling, but it's real stories of how is water for life, but it's also, water is our ministry, it's the creation of God, and how do we make sure living here to preserve that, and I think having these water stories are really great.
Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing them. Both of you and your studies are in my thoughts and prayers as we adventure in care of water in our communities near and far together. So on that note, thank you so much. I'm going to stop.